Welcome back to Talking Hip Hop. I'm your host, JustKeekz, and today's guest is KIBRA.
Then allow you the chains to burn me from my God, yeah. Hold to push, baby, yeah. Only option. So will you love me? Will you love me if things change?
From performing at TIFF to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, to headlining Afrofest, KIBRA is a well-versed R&B singer-songwriter from Toronto, Ontario. Raised by Eritrean parents, her culture is heavily embedded in her music. Her songs touch on strong social issues, hope, and love. Please welcome to the show, KIBRA. Yay! Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for stopping by and chatting with me. How are you?
I am great.
Yes.
I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, I'm happy to have you on. We have so much to unpack. During these interviews, I like to take the viewers from the beginning. So I know you're an incredible singer, by the way. And it's very clear how special music is to you and your life. So how did you get your start with music and your singing career?
I always say I started singing before I could talk. Mm-hmm. I just always enjoyed music, and my parents put me in piano lessons when I was 3 years old, and so that kind of gave me the first taste of musicality, and I really grew to love it, singing more so than piano.
Yes,
but just always involved in the school talent shows, choirs, any opportunity that I could sing, I would always take it. Church. So it just kind of always has been a constant in my life from a very young age, and once I realized that in the midst of the pursuits of all the other things I was doing, I realized that this was what I wanted to do and what I would feel most fulfilled doing.
Yeah. I love that. And you started off from a really young age. So how have you evolved since the beginning of your career to now? Because you've done so much. Recently, I know there's been so many places you've performed at, so many things you've accomplished, and I'm sure that you're just beginning. So how have you evolved since the beginning of your career up into right now?
I think when I look back at those talent show videos, I'm like, whoa. I do not know why anyone was encouraging this. I was not that great.
Yeah.
But I think any kid that likes to sing, everyone's yay,
Yeah.
So I think just, my skill level has grown a lot, and is still growing.
Yeah.
And I think just my perception on what music can be has changed as well, or how music can be a vessel for so many different things that you want to speak on. It's a tool that can be used as an outlet, as a form of activism, just to name a few. So I have grown a new appreciation for how music has showed up for me in my own life.
Wow. Yeah. And also, I know you've performed on stages like the Drake Hotel, RBCX Music Pre-Show for TIFF, Ghana's Afro Chic Festival, Afrofest, and the list goes on. These are very big achievements for a rising star like yourself. So how did you get to the spot you're in today, and was it easy?
So I wouldn't necessarily say it was easy, but I would say that I'm really grateful for community. I think there's just so many great resources available through communities that I have been able to take advantage of, and also just meet a lot of people, through school, just through extracurriculars and whatnot, and just broadening my networks in order to have those opportunities come my way. And just, once you're focused on something and you're ambitious and working on your craft, I think that often attracts those opportunities as well. But it's because it's such a, what's the word I could use? It's a very, there's a lot of ways to pursue music. And yet like nothing is really structured. So there was a lot of trial and error, right? A lot of mistakes, a lot of people that weren't so good to me, a lot of free work, a lot of hustle. So there were multiple parts that come into play and that are continuously happening that I think has helped me evolve into the artist that I am today.
And that's a part of your journey too, like even the challenges, and with any kind of career that you pursue, it's going to be an uphill battle. So I think that helps shape us and help us with the different things that we want to pursue professionally. And I know your much anticipated single, If Things Change, featuring Sasha L. Henry, is dropping later this month. And you have been putting out little teasers, little snippets. Without giving away too much, what can people expect from that single, and what makes this one so important and different from the rest?
So the song itself is, just talking, it's a love song.
Yeah.
It's talking about like the time in a relationship where things are new and fresh and
honeymoon
amazing,
stage,
but it's also, it's about like that seed of doubt that is there to see like, is this too good to be true? Is this something that will last, that can go the distance? Which I think is pretty relatable. I think a lot of people, when you enter relationships or when you're about to enter relationships, it's always a fear. Or not even just a fear, it's like a worry, it's a concern, it's a risk that you kind of have to take. But the song is written in a way that I think incites a lot of joy.
Yeah.
There's a choir on the song.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so it's very gospel-y.
Yeah.
And Sasha just did an incredible job on the record. And so I won't give too much on like where she is on the song, but she did a really good job. And aside from the song, the music video that's coming out with it was in partnership with Black Lives for Change, who is, they're an organization, a grassroots organization in Toronto that advocates for Black people, Black youth, and the partnership allowed us to provide the people in my community with backpacks for back to school, the kids with back to school products or supplies. And we were also able to partner with Chloe Beauty as well as Chef Hassan to feed the whole block and get some hair and makeup products for the neighborhood. And it was genuinely such a great time. I think everybody on set had a lot of fun. It was just a great opportunity for us to bring everyone together. Where we shot the music video was where I grew up, and so
nice,
it
super
was,
full circle.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people in my neighborhood always kind of knew that I was just that girl singing all the time, but they never have seen me in this sort of light, and so everyone was really appreciative of the time that we got to spend together, and I think it was just a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, sure. And one thing I really like about you, and of course I don't know you, this is my first time meeting you, but with doing my research is that your songs always have a strong meaning behind it, and it's very community oriented. Even you choosing to partner up with this Black Lives organization, shoot the music video in your neighborhood, even giving back while you're producing this music video. That's incredible. So I did want to touch on one of your songs, Live Your Life, because I feel like it has a very strong message behind it. And I know it was released about a year ago. So I still think the message is really relevant today. So can you share the story and meaning behind the song and even the visuals?
Of course, yeah. So That song is really just a ode to the ancestors that paved the way for us so that we can exist in the ways that we do, while still acknowledging that there's still a lot of work to be done. We're still suffering from a lot of oppression, and the I guess like the overall mening is that just your existence is resistance.
Yeah.
Just by being here, waking up every day. And so I wrote it to encourage myself and others to get up every day, you know, and because even that is hard sometimes.
Trust me, I know.
Right?
I know.
And then when you have all of these systems and forces against you, it makes it even harder,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's about like, you know, being optimistic, but not being blind to the very real things that we're facing still today.
For sure.
And the video was probably the most fun I've ever had shooting music video. I want to thank RBC Music and the MVP Project for funding that project. We were able to go to Tobamori, and the story detailed a group of Black girls living their lives, having fun, connecting to nature, and just being able to see Black women in that sort of light, I find is not something we often see, yet I think is really important. And the way it was captured was in a way that really allowed us to just, because we're actually friends too, you know, so like just allow us to be authentically happy and having a good time. Like it wasn't so much acting because we genuinely had such a great time. And you know, I connected in the ancestors. I reached out to the Eritrean community.
Wow.
And they helped me out so much with like even allowing me to tap in with the seniors group. And I met such amazing Eritrean women who played the ancestors in the video. And you know, it was, I feel like there were so many different little elements, it's hard to explain in one sitting, that just kind of make it all the more meaningful and deliver the message. And, that video was shot and directed and edited by Mez Marie, and the DP was or Director Lee, sorry. Edit that out.
I honestly thought that, like, this is to show you how nice Tobamori is. If you didn't tell me that, I would never think that it was shot in Tobamori. It looked like it was, like, not even near Canada.
And you know what? That was another thing, was, like, we shot that video during the pandemic, and this was, like, a perfect opportunity to explore Canada. But I also wanted to acknowledge that, like, we're on stolen land, right? At the end of the day. And as much as, you know, we should explore and travel and have a great time, it's always good to acknowledge that this land is not ours and was not taken nicely, to say the least. And so I made sure to include a land acknowledgement at the beginning.
I did notice that as well. And that also just shows how socially aware you are and cautious of what you're putting in your music, especially in a day and age where there's not a lot of songs out there that I think talk about. We need more songs that have that powerful meaning behind it. And of course, I love the party music too, but I really like that you're thinking about, okay, this is a good song, but what message can I tie in here, because people are going to listen to it. People are going to watch the video. So all of that, I think, is really good, and just keep it up, because
Thank you.
That's very refreshing to see in this day and age. Another thing I wanted to touch on, just talking about music videos, is I feel like you have a very creative eye when it comes to the production of your music videos. And as someone who studied filmmaking and storytelling in college, I really value and respect your attention to thought. I wanted to know, what is the brainstorming process like when it comes to producing ideas for your music videos?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
So I have to, of course, first give it up to the team of
For
people
sure.
that help me bring these ideas to life. With If Things Change specifically, I just had this idea of like wanting to make a statement with this video, and like I wanted to shoot it in my neighborhood and just kind of like have a vibrant display of Blackness, of community, you know. And after speaking with Mes Marier about like these ideas, we kind of formed more of like a visual, of like a storyboard of like what we would like to include. And then the video, and then the ideas were given to Brandon, who directed, and we together came up with like the shot list of like, how are we now going to convey the intention, right? So I think the most important thing is like knowing what that intention is from the very beginning, because there's so many ideas that get brought up and it's like, okay, but it doesn't align with the intention, so it gets thrown out, right?
Yeah.
So once I felt like the intention was effectively communicated, that's when we're like, all right, now we can start, you know, putting things together and like getting the ice cream truck in, you know, and getting all the props and telling everybody when to be there, what to expect, and all that. So, yeah, it's teamwork. In as much as I'm highly involved in the production of my videos, I couldn't do it alone.
Talk about it. Yeah. It's true. It takes a village. Like when you're shooting this, like, hello. It takes a village. So yeah, that is very important. And you guys make sure to check out If Things Change when it releases later this month. So Green Print Network, this is a program that you helped design. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, so the Green Print Network is a collective of artists whose mission is to create spaces for other artists in the city to organically collaborate and grow. And so right now, we're currently running a program at James Cardinal McGuigan Catholic High School for a group of students to it's called the Creative Writing and Performance Workshop. And so the students are accompanied with a mentor of their own. So they have a one-on-one mentor who is another emerging artist in the city.
Wow.
Where they are put into 3 phases. So the first phase was the creative writing phase. And like the goal was to finish a song, a poem, a story to completion. And then the performance phase is where they practice performing their piece with my full band. And then the end of it is something, the last phase is called Print Sessions, where, which is a series where we promote music and other types of talent, where they, it's basically a live recording.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Each student is going to get to use what they learned in the creative writing and the performance workshops to present in that way, and then they have a professionally recorded video to walk away with. And it's been absolutely great. Like, it's been so fulfilling, and it's our first program of its kind, and so it's excellent to hear how fruitful it's been for the students and how well received it's been by the school. So yeah, like I'm really happy about how it's going. We are planning on doing a bunch of other things. We started other sort of programs since last year, February. We did like a retreat for artists to collaborate and create social media content. We also did something called the Green Room, where we facilitated a learning exchange amongst creatives in the city, which was like a 6-week program in collaboration with Sandbox Studios. And yeah, like there's so much more in store. We're so new, but yeah, like we're really excited about where we're going for sure.
I would have loved to take that program in high school. I wish that was there when I was in high school.
We're gonna have more things for adults as well. So I'll let you know.
Yeah, that would be really cool to do. And on the topic of that, like you've been doing so much, so how does this work? Are you just sitting there like, I have an idea for this, and then you go and execute it? Like, how does the whole process works for you?
That's literally what it is.
Really?
I get an idea. I'm like, how do I do this? Yeah. And then I just figure it out.
Yeah, I really like that. That is like, on to my next question. It's, what kind of advice would you share with another artist, creator, entrepreneur, anyone out there that might have a dream or a goal that they're chasing? What words of encouragement or advice would you give to them?
I wouldn't say nothing, but most things are not too ambitious. I feel like oftentimes we like are dealing with imposter syndrome. We're dealing with like even just feeling too small for the goals or ideas that we have, that we never even attempt to go for it. And so like if you have an idea and you know that it's good, figure it out. Talk to people. Try to see it through. And of course there's like a sense of like realisticness that you have to have, but we have been so plagued by like imposter syndrome and, you know, feeling like we're this small little fry in a big pool. Like it's not true. You know, a lot of the times people see success is because they just went for it, you know? And so if you're able to safely, of course, go for it. Talk to people, flesh out the ideas, because what something ends up being never is exactly as what the idea is, because the idea isn't considerate of like reality, right? So once you flesh things out, you realize that even with reality considered, this is still a good idea. Right? And you may have to make some adjustments or may have to pull in some resources and, you know, reach out to your networks and whatnot. But when there's a will, there's a way. It's a very cliche thing to say, but it's true.
It's true.
And I think the second thing I would say is try to just be in alignment. So oftentimes people can be very scattered and like not really have a good sense of direction. And so the ideas never end up transpiring because they're not connected to where your line is, like your journey is supposed to go. And so encourage yourself to do some self-discovery and understand what will bring you to alignment with your purpose, your sense of self, your passion, what will make you feel fulfilled, and then try to ideate around that.
I'm happy you brought that up, because I can just personally relate to that. Sometimes when you have an idea, you're thinking so much about it that you realize I'm thinking about this more than I'm actually doing it. And the time you're spending there, like, oh, how about if I do this? Overthinking, you could have been productive and been trying to achieve that goal. So, and also what you said is very important, of finding your, kind of like your niche. Because sometimes we have all these ideas, but like, how could we focus it and align it to what we want to do? So that is super, super important. Gems being dropped over here. And so I just wanted to touch on, as an artist, like, I know there's probably so many adversities or challenges you face. Even like now, we're really lucky to be shooting this interview in person, but during the pandemic, I had to pivot, and these interviews were on Zoom. So we're very grateful today to me even being here to sit here in the flesh without a mask on and all of that. So were there any challenges that arise during the pandemic for you, and how did you pivot, or how did you had to overcome so many challenges we faced in the pandemic, or any challenges you've experienced with your music career?
I like just really made it a point to stay connected with people. I did Instagram lives. You know, I was still performing, but on Instagram Live or on Zoom, or, you know, doing those sort of things. I still like spoke to people, you know, on the phone. I made sure like I was on top of like what was going on in my inner circle. I tried my best to feel as connected as I could with the people that I would normally be connected with. But in regards to music, it wasn't as horrible for me, and I'm really thankful for that. I was able to go to Ghana for the majority of the pandemic.
Nice.
And so it was a great time for me to like write music, reflect, you know, take advantage of the warmth. And you know, meet new people. And you know, there's a lot of Torontonians out there as well.
Really?
So there was a lot of friendly faces out there as well that we got to do retreats with and just have a good time. So the pandemic wasn't really as challenging for me. I think if anything, the times that at least I was at home, it really allowed me to just center and refocus and be like, okay, this could happen, like this is possible. What now? And so I just started making new ideas and creating new ways to connect with people still, and get music out. I you know, released I released a few songs, I think, during the pandemic, and pivoted. I had to pivot from what I was expecting to do at that time because of what was going on. So yeah, like it was a testament to my ability to adapt. Right? And I don't want to say there weren't any challenging times. There definitely were. You know, being cooped up in your house, there definitely were. But I feel like I walked away from the experience not super negative, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it was really good to stay optimistic during that time, because it was a lot to go through. And it's only now that I'm realizing, like, we literally were told not to leave the house for like months on months.
Yeah, that was very hard. Very, very hard.
And I know in the intro I mentioned that you come from an Eritrean background, and again, it's you can hear it in your music and your song lyrics. How important is it for you to implement your culture into your music?
I don't think I have to try that hard because it's so in me. You know? I grew up listening to so many Eritrean and Ethiopian songs that, like, the way my voice has shaped itself is very influenced by that music. And I love my culture. I love my people. And so it's not difficult for that to be one of the things at the forefront of my identity and therefore my music. So.
Any musical influences or artists who inspire you or your sound?
Oh, so many. So many. When I was a kid, like, Usher was everything to me. I loved Usher. But I'm really grateful to my parents because they really introduced me to a diverse amount of music. I was listening to everything from like Usher to like Dolly Parton, you know, to like Motown records.
What a jump, Usher, Dolly Parton.
Yeah, like, and everything in between. You know,
yeah.
So I was, my uncle used to take me almost every week to HMV, and I was allowed to get 1 or 2 CDs. And so that experience in of its own, like having to choose what CD am I gonna go home with. Right.
Back when we had CDs,
Yeah, and because we were going so often, it was like the generic CDs, I bought them all. So I was forced to explore like other genres and other artists that maybe like a person in, you know, with my identity wouldn't have been exposed to
Yeah.
normally, right? So yeah, like I had, like I got a taste of multiple different genres, and I feel like all of it kind of influenced. And I'm a Disney girl. I love Disney.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for Little Mermaid
Me too.
in May 26th.
So excited.
I know.
So excited.
And it's so nice to see representation.
Yeah.
Like, I wish when I was younger I could see a Black Disney princess.
Me too.
Like, this is really cool. And also, like, on that note, how important is it for us to see representation, not only in, like, movies, but in the music industry, you know?
Oh, so important. I think there are so many intersections that I belong to.
Yeah.
It's more than just being an Eritrean. There's so many parts of me that I'm representing through my music that sometimes isn't represented or is underrepresented. And I think the more representation we have, like even with identities that I can't identify with, is important, because it's almost the first step to someone realizing that they can do it too.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and so if someone sees me and identifies me in one way, shape, or form, and that inspires them to go after what they want to go after, like, what more can I ask for? Yeah.
I do want to just say thank you so much for coming out on the show and just unfolding a little bit more about you. And also, I do want to just ask, let the viewers at home know where they can go to follow you, where they can go to stream your music, what kind of projects you have coming up, all of that good stuff.
Sure. So you could find me at KIBRA Music on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And you could stream my music, KIBRA, on all streaming platforms, KIBRA. And yeah, make sure you catch If Things Change, coming out May 19th. And that will be available on all streaming platforms as well as YouTube.
Yes. And again, thank you for coming out on the show. You can keep up with the show at Talking Hip Hop Show. That's TALKINHIPHOP. So Talking without the G, Hip Hop. And stay tuned with KIBRA. Keep up with her. She has some projects coming out. And my name is JustKeekz. And until next time, keep talking hip hop. Peace.